Thank you for joining us as we recognize 11 international leaders dedicated to disability inclusion worldwide. We have in the past bestowed the Henry Viscardi Achievement Awards at an elegant affair in the heart of New York City. But this year, we have transitioned to a virtual event which by no means dims the spotlight we are shining on these extraordinary individuals. Leaders who act as mentors and role models for all. Leaders those of us with disabilities need to see more often of. Leaders with disabilities we can aspire to become. First established in 2013, the Henry Viscardi Achievement Awards honor the legacy and vision of the Viscardi Center's founder, Dr. Henry Viscardi Jr., who wore prosthetic legs. He was one of the world's leading advocates for people with disabilities and served as a disability advisor to 8 U.S. presidents. These international awards recognize exemplary leaders in the disability community who have had a profound impact on shaping attitudes and policy and improving the quality of life of people with disabilities. Including today's awardees, Viscardi Awards have been bestowed upon 80 recipients from over 20 countries. We are astounded by their international growth as seen through the number of highly qualified nominees each year and the new countries that submit nominations. It is a testament to the visibility and far-reaching impact of leadership within the disability community. Our award recipients have been selected by an esteemed, globally based committee, once again co-chaired by former U.S. Senator Bob Dole and Sherwood Woody Goldberg.
A congratulatory message from Sherwood Woody Goldberg, retired U.S. Army Colonel and Emeritus Civilian Aide to the Secretary of the Army. It is a distinct honor to have continued to serve as the co-chair of the Henry Viscardi Achievement Awards Selection Committee, along with the distinguished Senator Bob Dole. On behalf of the Selection Committee, I congratulate each of the 2020 awardees, as well as the outstanding advocates who were nominated this year. Every year, these awards expand their reach and further demonstrate the positive impacts being made in communities worldwide. They also have a strategic significance, as the United States and its Americans with Disabilities Act have long been models for other countries developing policies to ensure the civil rights of people with disabilities around the world. These 11 international leaders are serving as powerful forces for change and enhanced opportunities for people with disabilities, have demonstrated a vision and commitment to improving the quality of life of people with disabilities, and have helped to lead societal transformation, producing improved outcomes and higher expectations of the disability communities which they serve. I salute each awardee for their extraordinary contributions.
Thank you, Woody, for those thoughtful remarks, your service to our country, and for your dedication to this initiative since its very inception. Now it's time to introduce you to the class of 2020 awardees, several of whom I have had the great pleasure of working with and knowing personally. Nguyen Thi Hoa. Hoa is the founder and director of the Action to the Community Development Institute in Vietnam, where she dedicates her work to empowering people with disabilities particularly impacted by poverty. Among her many contributions, Hoa was a strong advocate behind Vietnam's successful ratification of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in 2014.
Hi, my name is Lan. I'm director of the Work we call the Action to the Community Development Institute, which short name ACDC. We are working for people with disability. This year is the 9th year birthday of ACDC. Henry Viscardi Achievement Awards is an honor for me as a woman with disability and a leader of the organization for people with disability in Vietnam. This award is not for me only, just for my team who are working here at the ACDC, that contribution to the vision and empowerment of people with disability in Vietnam. We expect that in the future we can support more and more people with disability here to be living independent and contribution into society. We do hope that all the people with disability in Vietnam are included and more empowerment in the future. Thank you very much for your great award for me and my team. And I myself and my team try our best to work harder and harder and more contribution to the right wheels of people with disability in Vietnam. And we do hope to welcome you to Vietnam to see our achievement. Thank you.
Caroline Casey. Based in Dublin, Ireland, Caroline is an award-winning social entrepreneur and founder whose latest initiative, the Valuable 500, is a global campaign to get 500 global businesses to make disability inclusion a priority. Launched at the World Economic Forum Annual Summit in 2019, Caroline succeeded in bringing disability inclusion onto the main stage at Davos for the very first time with the support of global business leaders.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the honor of being an awardee of the Henry Viscardi Award. You know, it's like a message of thank you for not giving up. Thank you for being the rebel-hearted warrior who just insisted upon making sure that disability would be elevated to the level of the biggest business leaders in the world. It's been a really long, hard fought journey. Many of the other awardees have guided me along this road. When I had this dream back in 2007, and it makes part of receiving this recognition so meaningful, which is the other awardees. But also it just shows you that real change takes time and friendship and hands on backs. And it's not just about the individual here receiving this. It means so much coming from the US as well. The US has been a really great friend to me, many people there. And I just can't say thank you enough. As I stand here with this idea, the Valuable 500, which this time, 2 years ago, everybody told me I was crazy and that we could not make it happen. It feels fantastic to say that we're over now 340 of the world's most iconic CEOs and brands who are creating this first of its kind global CEO community to radically transform the business system across the supply chain to equally include people with disabilities and their families. I can't quite believe it. And so I really respectfully receive this because not just for me, but for the team of extraordinary people that I get to work with every day, the companies and the leaders and the partners and the friends all around the world, this network we have created. And also to say a massive congratulations to all the other awardees. Thank you. It really does mean a lot. And a big wave from Ireland to America.
James Raymond J.R. Harding. J.R. is a 2-time U.S. presidential appointee and 7-time Florida gubernatorial appointee who has made significant contributions to public policy, advancing the independence of people with disabilities. He serves as a full-time faculty member at Florida State University College of Business and has authored 2 well-received books about adapting to life with an acquired disability.
Good evening. I am touched, honored, and humbled to be recognized by the Viscardi Center for their prestigious Leadership Award. This is a very special year because it's the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The act gave me a calling and a purpose in life. My work in the disability space does not seem equal to that of some of the other awardees like Judith, Andy, Jim, and others across the country. Nevertheless, each of us have made small and large contributions to the world of access and inclusion of persons with disabilities. By being a pioneer, being unafraid to live life, I've encountered barriers and have tried to remove those barriers through public policy, business partnerships, and teamwork with my fellow advocates. The goal has always been to improve our independence and self-sufficiency. Through our collective voices, our passions, and our abilities, we can make that door just a little wider for that next generation. There is no greater acknowledgement for one's work than recognition from your peers. I would like to thank the Viscardi Center for their leadership, Florida State University for their support, and my fellow pioneering advocates who continue to help identify and create meaningful solutions. Please know that I will do my level best to live up to that high standard of being a Viscardi leader. Thank you.
Judith Heumann. Judy Heumann is a lifelong and internationally recognized disability rights activist and leader, a force behind countless national efforts to advance disability inclusion. She has taken on many leadership roles throughout her spectacular career, including Special Advisor for International Disability Rights at the U.S. Department of State under President Barack Obama. Judy is featured in the award-winning documentary film Crip Camp, A Disability Revolution, now on Netflix.
Thank you very much for bestowing this award. It's really an honor for me to be in a class of people who are really doing such incredible work. I've been involved in the disability rights movement for many decades now, and we have seen some wonderful progress that's gone on with the passage of laws like the Americans with Disabilities Act, providing opportunities for disabled children and adults to really take our rightful place in society. We absolutely know that in spite of these great achievements, there is much yet that needs to be done. COVID certainly is potentially throwing us back, and we're going to need really to work more vigilantly than ever to make sure that the gains that we and other people around the world have made will not be adversely affected. So again, it's an honor that I'm part of this group because I know that everyone in this group is continuing to work hard for the rights of disabled people. And again, thank you so much for this honor.
Andrew J. Impatto. Andy is a disability rights leader and policy expert serving as the Executive Director of Disability Rights California. He previously held executive leadership positions at national organizations in Washington, D.C., including AUCD and AAPD. Among his numerous accomplishments, Andy has helped lead coalition efforts to pass the ADA Amendments Act in 2008 and negotiate the disability provisions in the bipartisan 2014 Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act.
Hi, my name is Andy Impatto, and I wanted to thank John Kemp and Senator Bob Dole and the selection committee for recognizing me with the Henry Viscardi International Achievement Award. I am very grateful. John, this is particularly meaningful for me because John Kemp has been one of my most important mentors going back to when I was a young lawyer in my 20s working for Senator Harkin. John is the person who believed in me as a person with bipolar disorder, to become the first president and CEO of the American Association of People with Disabilities. Bob Dole was involved in founding the American Association of People with Disabilities with Paul Hearn and John Kemp. Jim Weissman was on the first board of AAPD and was involved in hiring me. Judith Heumann was a board member at AAPD while I was there. And Bob Dole served in World War II with my uncle, Butch Luther, who was killed by a German sniper in World War II. And Bob Dole was the person who told my grandparents that their son had died. So I feel surrounded by people who played very important roles in my life. I'm grateful for their mentorship, for their support, for their leadership. I'm excited to be back in my home state of California and a new job this year at Disability Rights California. And I look forward to continuing to do the work in partnership with so many wonderful mentors and colleagues here in California, back in Washington, D.C., and around the country. My father also grew up in New York, and my mother and brother live in New York, so it's particularly meaningful for me to get an award from the Viscardi Center in New York. So again, thank you to everyone for this high honor. I am humbled by it, and I look forward to using the award to redouble my efforts to be a strong advocate with and for people with disabilities in California, across the United States, and around the world. Thank you so much.
Brahm Jordan. Born with deafness in South Africa, Brahm is an award-winning filmmaker, animator, children's book author, and disability and sign language advocate. In 2015, he launched a viral social media campaign that convinced the White House to provide closed captioning on online video content. Brahm currently serves as CEO of Convo Communications Canada, which enables sign language users to make calls using a sign language interpreter in real time.
Hello. Wow. It is such an honor to be a recipient of this prestigious award. It's like the Nobel Prize for Human Rights and Disabilities Advocacy around the world. Thank you. Looking back to the early days when I started doing film, animation, books for children, and business projects, I experienced a lot of barriers. But I didn't give up. It reinvigorated me to advocate for our equality in human rights. By doing this, it opened so many doors and opportunities for us to navigate through. The work wasn't a solo endeavor. I have an incredible team of people that worked alongside me to achieve where we are today. Thank you to all the organizations like the World Federation of the Deaf, World Federation of the Deaf Youth Section, and Deaf Federation of South Africa, and many businesses who agreed to work together to improve the quality of lives for deaf people around the world. Also, thank you Convo Communications in the U.S., and the recently established Convo Canada for giving me an opportunity to grow to become a stronger business person. It shows that we, the deaf people, are capable of anything. Importantly, a big thank you to my wife, Trisana, who has been advocating alongside me. There have been ups and downs in our advocacy work, but we supported each other all the way through. Thank you.
Jaime Huerta Peralta. Jaime is an architect, professor, writer, and disability rights advocate living in Peru who became a paraplegic after sustaining an accident while vacationing with his family. Using his expertise and personal experience, he has worked to design accessible workplaces and districts in the city of Lima. He currently teaches courses at 3 universities and has authored several books about accessible design.
Dear friends, my name is Jaime Huerta. I'm an architect and I live in Lima, Peru. By the second week of October, I received the announcement and congratulations from Mr. John Kemp telling me that I had been selected to receive the 2020 Henry Viscardi Achievement Award. This was an awesome surprise and wonderful news that made me very happy and very proud for the honor of being recognized by an institution like the Viscardi Center for my efforts of 33 years trying to improve the quality of life of people with disabilities. I consider myself a man of two worlds because I acquired the disability that put me on a wheelchair when I was 45 years old. After a period of rehabilitation, being an architect, I started researching and studying to specialize in accessibility and independent living. The knowledge acquired has allowed me to give conferences and develop workshops in most of the main cities of Peru for regional and municipal governments and also in some places abroad. It has also made possible for me to write articles and books on these topics and participate as an advisor and consultant for the government and private institutions, with the advantage that gives me being not only an expert but also a user, always trying to develop these activities with the aim of helping people with disabilities to improve their quality of life. Receiving this award is a great encouragement to continue my efforts for the benefit of people with disabilities, who need the maximum support from all of us and from the society, and because it also gives me the opportunity to honor the vision and legacy of Henry Viscardi.
Edmund Q Sylvester. EQ had just started his retirement when he became a triple amputee and prosthesis user. From his own research and love of the sport, he founded the U.S. Adaptive Golf Alliance, which teaches golf, organizes tournaments, and connects golfers with disabilities to adaptive equipment. In 2019, U.S. AGA member organizations served 40,000 individuals across the country, of which 26% are wounded veterans.
Hi, my name is Edmund Q Sylvester, and I'm chairman of the United States Adaptive Golf Alliance. First and foremost, I am honored to be a recipient of the Viscardi International Award. Being able to stand beside other leaders who've had a profound impact on improving the quality of life of people with disabilities. This outstanding honor provides further support of our mission to include the disabled in the fabric of society through the game of golf. What started slowly 6 months after I left the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago as a new triple amputee in 2012 has now grown into a national movement of inclusion, which we call the Paragolf movement across our country. Paragolf excites the disabled who have overcome their personal setbacks to take on the wonderful challenge of golf. We have proven that the power of golf is greater than just a game, as anyone with a disability can play, no matter what challenge they're faced with, whether it be physical, developmental, or sensory. Thousands have gained therapeutic and rehabilitative benefits, a new sense of joy in their lives, a social camaraderie from golf, as well as great smiles of self-confidence. Thank you for this wonderful honor, but more importantly, for the personal opportunity to assist in opening doors for many more disabled to be included in the fabric of our society. Thank you very much for this honor.
Dwong T. Van. Van is the founder and chairwoman of Hanoi Association of People with Disabilities, vice president of the Vietnam Federation on Disability, and is a member of the National Advisory Board of the Vietnam National Committee on Persons with Disabilities. As chairwoman of DP Hanoi, her mission is to improve community participation and job opportunities for people with disabilities, especially women. Under her direction, Her organization has grown to serve 15,000 individuals.
Hello everyone. My name is Nguyen Thi Hoa, chairperson of Hanoi Association of the People with Disability, DP Hanoi, vice chairperson of the Vietnam Federation on Disability, VFD. I'm honored to achieve the Henry Viscardi Achievement Awards. This is not only my personal honor, but also the honor of DP Hanoi, VFD, People with Disability in Vietnam. I'm so thankful to the Selections Committee of Henry Viscardi Achievement Award 2020 for giving me this honor. I believe that Vietnam has many young people with disability who are knowledgeable, capable, and enthusiastic to follow on the path that we have chosen. Supporting people with disability to exercise their rights and to be equal inclusion with the community, contributing to the movement of people with disability in Vietnam, the region, and the world. I hope that organizations of people with disability will actively cooperate with each other and with CSOs to assist the people with disability to enhance the empowerment of the people with disability, especially women and girls with disability in all aspects of social lives, implement the goal of the strategy to make the writing and the goal of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development will be left behind.
Matafa Fatino Udamapu. Matafa is the general manager of NOLA, Samoa's national disability advocacy organization. Drawing from her experience as a woman with blindness, she led NOLA in successfully pushing for Samoa to ratify the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. At the start of COVID-19, her team ensured that for the first time, the Prime Minister was accompanied by a sign language interpreter at press conferences.
Being a recipient of this award is an opportunity of a lifetime. So I take this opportunity to thank everyone who contributed to my success, my parents, my family members, my friends, my staff, and board, and most especially God for giving me the strength to serve His purpose.
James J. Weissman. Jim is a disability rights lawyer and president and CEO of United Spinal Association, a nonprofit organization dedicated to enhancing the quality of life of people living with spinal cord injuries. He was a key negotiator with Congress promoting the passage of the original ADA and a founding board member of AAPD. Jim routinely consults with industry leaders seeking to include people with disabilities in their workforce, programs, and as customers.
I'm proud to be considered a leader in the disability community and thank the Viscardi Center for acknowledging me. I've been committed to enhancing the quality of the lives of people with disabilities because of my early experiences at what is now called the Viscardi Center. I met contemporaries with disabilities as a 16-year-old volunteer lifeguard and camp counselor. It was obvious to me then, and still is, that people with disabilities have identical needs and desires to those without disabilities. Their potential for success, however, is undermined by low expectations and attitudinal and architectural barriers. Access to transportation, housing, employment, shopping, and recreation was difficult for people with disabilities before we were able to get laws passed and enforced to protect their rights. There was not a public collective consciousness, even among people with disabilities, about what constituted discrimination on the basis of disability. Excluding people with disabilities, for example, or unnecessarily separating them from the rest of the public was common practice. Centuries of ignoring the needs and rights of people with disabilities resulted in institutionalization, unemployment, and underemployment. While not rooted in animus and ill will, disability-related discrimination keeps people with disabilities poor, powerless, and out of the American mainstream. Thank you, Viscardi Center, for recognizing my efforts to remove barriers and open minds. I have made many great friends through the Viscardi Center, who have encouraged and guided me throughout my career, including Hank Viscardi himself, Paul Hearn, and of course, John Kemp. I'm truly grateful for this award. Thank you again.
Let's give the 2020 Henry Viscardi Achievement Award recipients a round of applause. You can read more about the work of these awardees on our website, viscardicenter.org. And in addition, this program will be posted on the Viscardi Center's YouTube page, so you may view it again and share it broadly to raise awareness of the recipients' life-changing work being conducted around the world. Thank you for joining us. Be well, stay safe, and stay Viscardi strong.